Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to this Power Tap. Today's Power Tap is going to be on challenging our challenges. Yeah. So first, let's just ground ourselves in this present moment. Let's just take some deep breaths, placing one hand on your stomach and one hand on your knees. Let's just take 3 deep breaths. Breathe in, fill up your belly. Exhale with a loud sigh. One more time, deep breath. One more time, deep inhale, fill up your belly. And just slowly start massaging underneath the collarbone. Where is the emotional well, where all of our emotions are stored. And just tune into the challenges in your life. Tune into an area of your life that you are feeling the most challenged right now. Maybe something is changing in your relationships or in your work environment, or you need to make a decision to go forward with something that you've been procrastinating on. Just tune into one thing that is the most challenging in your life right now. And let's just take a deep breath into that, release a big sigh. And just tapping in front of the chest, repeating after me and changing the words. If it doesn't fit you, find a word that fits you best. Even though I've been challenged around, and say what you've been challenged around, I deeply and completely accept myself. Take a deep breath, release a big sigh. Tapping in front of the ribs. Even though I have been challenged by, and say again what you've been challenged by, it's understandable. Tapping on the side of the ribs. It's been really challenging to face and say what you've been facing. And it has not been easy for me to face and say what you've been facing. Tapping on the wrist. And I forgive myself here for all of these big challenges that I'm facing in my life. Let's take a deep breath, release a big sigh. Tapping on the thumb. And just tune into this challenge in your life. I want you to feel, lean into the discomfort of what it feels like when this challenge shows up for you. Just allow yourself to feel it. Give yourself permission to bring these feelings to the surface, knowing that as we feel them, we can heal them. Tapping on the next finger. And just be with that for a moment. Be in that experience when you're being challenged. And just see what that feels like. And what do you show up like in that situation? And just repeating after me. When this challenge comes up, I feel, and say what you've been feeling. Tapping on the next finger. I've been feeling really, and say what you've been feeling. So your top 3 emotions. Tapping on the opposite finger whenever this challenge comes up for me. Tapping on the pinky. And it's been really hard. Sometimes it's really hard to face this challenge because it makes me feel, say how it makes you feel. Tapping on the side of the hand. And it's understandable that I feel this way. Because I haven't known how to feel otherwise. Tapping on top of the head. This challenge that I'm facing. I've been facing it for a while. It's been challenging me for a really, really long time. Tapping on in front of the eyebrows. And it's understandable that it makes me feel afraid. It makes me feel small. Tapping on the temples. I've been feeling stuck around this challenge in my life. And I forgive myself for that. Let's take a deep breath, release a big sigh. Tapping underneath the nose. Now just be with this challenge one more time. Just seeing yourself in this challenge. Tapping underneath the lips. And just see how we show up when we are being challenged by something. And what is your pattern around feeling challenged? Do you shrink and hide? Do you get loud? Do you get defensive? Do you attack? Do you run away? Do you distract yourself? Just look at what is your pattern when you are challenged by something in life. What is your go-to action? Tapping in front of the chest. When I'm challenged by, and say what you've been challenged by. I do, and say what you've been doing when you feel this challenge. Yeah, tapping in front of the ribs. And it's understandable I've been doing that. Because I haven't known another way. And it's possible, tapping on the side of the ribs, that is not helping me anymore. Let's take a deep breath into that, release a big sigh. Tapping on the wrist. And as you tune into the challenge and you see the pattern that you have, how you face this challenge, I want you to tune into what have you been believing about yourself around this challenge. Tapping on the thumb. I have been believing, and say what you've been believing. And that's possibly not true. Tapping on the next finger. I have been believing, and say what you've been believing. And maybe that is not true. Tapping on the next finger. All of these things that I've been believing about this challenge, maybe it's not true at all. Tapping on the opposite finger. And just tune into the challenge for a moment. Just see your challenge. What exactly about this challenge makes you afraid? Tapping on the pinky. Are you afraid that you're going to have to change something about yourself? Tapping on the side of the hand. Does this challenge make you afraid because you have to be honest about something that you haven't? Is the situation challenging you to make a decision you haven't been making for a while? Tapping on top of the head. Just look at what is this challenge calling for? What exactly about this challenge in your life is bothering you? Just take a deep breath into that, release a big sigh. Tapping on the eyebrows. It's possible this challenge is calling for an action that I haven't been ready to take. Tapping on the temples. I have been afraid to face this challenge because, say, why are you afraid to face this challenge in your life? Tapping on the cheekbones. I am afraid to face this challenge because, say, what are you afraid to face this challenge? Yeah, tapping underneath the nose. I might have to make a decision that I don't know how to make. Tapping underneath the lips. I might have to give up something that I don't want to give up yet. Tapping on the chest. I might have to look at something that I haven't looked at before. And that is very uncomfortable. Tapping on the ribs. This challenge makes me very uncomfortable because it's calling me to action. And I haven't been ready. And that's understandable. Tapping on the side of the wrist. And I forgive myself for that. I fully and completely accept myself here. Let's take a deep breath, release a big sigh. Tapping on the wrist. And as we face our challenge today, and we tune into this challenge in our life, this area of our life that is challenging us, it's calling us to action. And let's just look at all of the discomfort around this challenge, all of the beliefs, all of the emotions, all of the truths that we've been telling ourselves about this challenge. Tapping on the thumb. And just for a moment, consider challenging this challenge. How would you challenge something in your life when something doesn't feel true? How do you challenge non-truths in your life? Tapping in the next finger. And now let's just look at this challenge. And let's look at what you have been believing about yourself because of this challenge. And just repeat after me. I have been believing that, and say what you've been believing. Tapping on the next finger. I've been believing that maybe I'm not good enough here. Tapping on the opposite finger. And I'm willing to challenge that belief now. I'm open to challenging that belief right now. Tapping on the pinky. Because it's possible it's not true. tapping on the side of the hand. It's very likely this is just crap I've picked up from people around me, tapping on top of the head, from society. It's possible it's not even mine. And it's very likely that these limiting beliefs are not true at all. Tapping on the eyebrows. And I'm willing to challenge these beliefs right here, right now. Tapping on the temples. And let's just do that. Let's do that right now. Let's just challenge that belief. Just take that one big limiting belief that is making you feel small, that is making you disempowered, that is making you feel stuck, like you can't move forward, like you can't make a choice, like you don't know what to do. Just look at that limiting belief. Let's challenge it right now. Let's take a deep breath, release a big sigh. Tapping underneath the nose. Now I want you to look for evidence in your life where that hasn't been true. And so if your limiting belief is that I will make a mistake if I decide to stay or if I decide to go, I want you to look at your life and find a moment where you've made a similar decision and that was a good decision to make. Tapping underneath the lips. And just look at this challenge one more time. And what does it make you believe about yourself? Does it make you believe that I'm not good enough to do this? I want you to challenge that belief. Tapping in front of the chest. And just look at when you actually learned something new, when you picked up a new game, a new toy, a new book, a new class, something that you enjoyed, and you didn't know how to do that. But when you learned, you did it really well. Tapping in front of the ribs. And so let's challenge these beliefs. Let's look for evidence in our lives when we actually did something that we didn't know how to do, and we did it well. And let's just take a deep breath into that, release a big sigh. Tapping on the side of the ribs. I challenge my challenges with evidence. Tapping on the wrist. I can look for evidence in my life to challenge my challenges. Tapping on the thumb. I am open to challenging my challenges. Tapping on the next finger. I am open to questioning my limiting beliefs. Tapping on the next finger. Let's just be with that for a moment. Just feel what it feels like to actually challenge your limiting belief. How does that make you feel? Just feel into your body. If you could change your belief that I'm not good enough to do this, that I don't know if I'm going to make the right decision here. Tapping on the opposite finger. Just feel into what it would feel like if that wasn't true. If you could just open up. Tapping on the pinky. What would that feel like? Just visualize yourself. What would your life look like if this challenge was actually an opportunity? And it was no longer a limiting situation, but it was an expanding situation. Tapping on the side of the hand. Yeah, maybe this challenge is actually an opportunity. Tapping on top of the head. It's possible this challenge is calling me to grow. Tapping on the eyebrows. I am expanding. I am growing. Tapping on the temples. This is a possibility for me to expand as a human being. Tapping on the cheekbones. And maybe I can thank this challenge right now for opening this new door. Tapping underneath the nose, for giving me the opportunity to challenge my limiting beliefs and move into this new phase of my life. Tapping underneath the lips. I am challenging my challenges, and I am grateful. And I forgive myself for all of my doubts. And I fully and completely love myself here. And now just tapping all over your body. Just say 10 affirmations of what does it feel like when you challenge your challenges. How does that make you feel? It makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel open. It makes me feel big. It makes me feel powerful. It makes me feel possible. And say, what else does it make you feel? Yeah, all of that good stuff. And now placing one hand in your belly and one hand in your chest, just taking one deep breath. Being grateful for this good work we did today. Send yourself one big wave of love and empathy and one big hug. It is done. It is so. Thank you.